various projects with the art of living as international trainer. Sir has reached out to prison inmates in various detention centers in Sydney, Australia, with scientific techniques to de stress. He has led motivational and trauma relief sessions for refugees from various countries while being in Sydney. Sir has been reaching out to youth in various campuses across India with empowerment workshops, which have seen a definite impact in their lives. He also started a campaign curated as the Spreading Smiles in Kota as well as Sikar from 2016 to 18 with the motive of reaching out to youth preparing for entering medical entrance examinations with meditation and scientific breathing techniques. The campaign efforts reached out to over 2 lakh youngsters and saw a reduction in stress levels as well as suicide rate among youth and was felicitated by the Youth Ministry Rajasthan as exemplary service to the society in January 2017. It's a pleasure to have you among us, sir. On behalf of Women Engineering College Ajmer, I welcome you, sir, on this 5 days online Atal FDP on Internet of Things applications in medical science. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Meeta ma'am. And one thing which clicks into my mind the moment I hear about Gweka or this campus. I have very fond memories of visiting this campus many a times and interacting with the students. And must say, one of the most sincere students whom I have interacted with is in this campus. So thank you so much, Meeta ma'am, for such a lovely introduction. But before I begin, I would like to see few of the videos turned off, at least so that I can see that the smile is not one-sided. It's getting reflected on the other side as well. So if you are comfortable with all the technical regards to all the technical requirements, if we can all or few of us can turn on the videos, that would be really nice. Because I believe that communication, if it is one-sided, it is just a narration of something which is kind of an information. And the real communication is when both ways there are some exchanges of expressions and words, not only words but expressions as well. Okay. So good to see you, Meeta ma'am. I can see Payal ma'am, Dr. Vijay, and good to see a few others as well. So the session which I've been asked to deliver a lecture is on stress, but I can already see smiles on your faces. I don't think so you all are in any kind of stress. Yeah, I hope there's a lovely weather at your side also. I'm here in Bangalore right now, and it's lovely weather here. So before we talk about this particular topic, stress, there's been lots of material available online also, and you must have heard or read in many books also about this term called stress or maybe depression, if you go deeper into it. But before I begin, I would like to hear it from you. What according to you is stress? Yes. So I hope, since we are from the technical background, I hope none of you would come up with the definition of stress in the technical terms, which you learn in our engineering. Here we are talking about the other stress. So if you can share what you mean by stress or what according to you is stress in life. Maybe in the chat box you can write a word or two, or even if you feel like unmuting yourself and speaking more than well. Yes. So that way we can interact, and I can see here is the chat box. So what is stress? What we are talking about? See, they said that.
Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, we can say that it is uncertain condition will happen. That we
Okay.
can say that this is stress.
Okay. Uncertainty about future is stress. Okay. So Bhavna ma'am has shared that. Anyone else would like to share this? Any views on this? Stress. Am I right when I say that stress, in a very, very simple language, I can say that too much to do, too little time, and low energy? Yes, करने को बहुत कुछ है, समय की कमी है, और ऊर्जा भी नहीं है. That adds on to my stress, isn't it? Okay, someone has written, is it unhappy moments? Yes, but then depends. You always have a choice to be stressful or de-stressed, even in unhappy moments. We'll talk about it. Anything else? Yes. So in a very layman language, we can say this. So there's a equation between capacity and demand. Often when capacity is too much and demand is less, then we have nothing much to do, isn't it? But when the vice versa, if you take opposite of it, when the capacity is less and demand is too much, then we say we are under stress. Mostly in the workplaces. People often say that there's so much of responsibility, there's so much in my plate, I'm not able to cater to my responsibility. There's so much to do. The capacity is less, but the demand is too much. Yeah, that is also termed as stress. Scientifically or biologically, if we talk about that cortisol, which is the stress hormone, if it increases in our system, that is stress. At our workplace, if we do not adhere or agree with others' viewpoint, or others don't agree with our viewpoint, that is stress. At the level of body, at the level of emotions, at the level of feelings, at the level of behavior, everywhere if we see, there is stress. A workplace, homely environment, there is stress. We often consider this stress as something which we cannot handle. But today, in this session, first we are going to decode what really stress is. And then the later part of this session, we are going to learn few techniques which are revolutionary for last 40 years around the world in more than 150 countries, wherein people have experienced these techniques and they have definitely come out of stress. Yeah. So are you all interested in learning the practical techniques as well? Shall we take it forward that way? Should not be just theoretical terms, isn't it? Yeah. So before understanding further about stress, we need to understand that what are the different levels wherein we experience stress. Shall we do that? Okay. See, before pandemic and COVID, people used to say that I have so much to do, but I don't have time, and they were stressed. And when there was lockdown situation, people said, I have nothing to do and so much time, I am even stressed. You see this? The irony is, we really don't know what it is. So let's decode it today. So we can have the slides now on our screen, and then we can take it further. So there are 7 levels. Yeah, I would request Vansh to share the slides. Yeah. Yes, Vansh, can we have the slides, please? Okay, so just give me a moment. Yeah, so it's just coming on the screen now. And just a minute. Yeah. So can you all see? Yes. So this is the slide
Yes, sir.
we have. Yeah, it's visible.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay. So here we are. So there are 7 levels on which we exist. With each level, we move from gross to the subtle. Yes. So now we are going to experience these levels one by one. If we talk about the first level of existence, which is body. Now, if we talk about body, how do we experience stress at the level of body? See, when we are into our 20s, you all must have experienced this, that we were full of energy and enthusiasm. But as we grew older and older, our body also grew older. And so was the case with our muscles also. So was the case with our bones also. Almost each and every atom in our system, it's also growing older, isn't it? And that is what we call as aging. With aging comes stress. Why? Because until 2000, year 2000, the science believed that number of neurons cannot be increased. They are fixed. Yes, you only have to increase the efficiency of neurons. But there's a new science altogether which has come after year 2000, which is called neuroscience. And it says that, yes, the number of neurons can also be increased. And how? That we are going to discuss later. But right now, what I wish to say here is, the simple funda with body or muscle is, use it or lose it. If you are not using or doing some exercises, then definitely stress can come into our system. But understanding body is important. Body understands the language of effort. We need to put a lot of effort. Even if I have to do something, pick something from some place or keep something at some place, I need to put effort because body understands the language of effort. So there are few hormones which are secreted in our system. Most of us who are attending this session today would agree to the fact that our lifestyle is too much of on the sedentary side. Yeah, we are sitting at one place. So now it is said that if you are sitting idle for 1 hour and not moving from your place, it is as bad as you have smoked 20 cigarettes. Yes, you will be amazed to know this. This is passive smoking, we call it. Yeah? So we really need to move ourselves, move our body. Also, at the level of body, there's something called muscle memory. What does it mean? If you are daily using our muscles or doing some exercises, then a memory develops. The opposite is also true. If you are not doing anything, that gets into the memory of our body or the muscles. And going forward, that converts into ailments or diseases in our system. So at the level of body, if you are talking about this, I would like to share a few facts with you and you will be amazed. You know, how much do we intake in our system? We intake around 6 to 7 glass of water maybe in a day, or we eat around half kg or 1 kg of food. But how much air? 10,000 liters of air goes inside in our body every single day. If we increase or expand the lungs and we calculate the surface area of lungs, it comes out to be the area of tennis court. Yes. And you know, if we keep each and every strand of our DNA, if we keep it in a linear format in one particular line, we can revolve our planet 7 times. Or it can take us from London to the Moscow so many thousands of times. Yeah. So we are so much packed into such a tiny body form. Billions of atoms are there inside our system. Yes. And every single moment, uncountable cells are dying and taking birth as well. So much is happening. You all already know how many times the heart beats. Yeah. How many times we blink our eyes. Yes. You will be amazed to know how this body has been created. You know, our brain it's really heavy. It's not very light. But the one who created our system, he was very intelligent, or she was very intelligent. What they had done, they had put some fluid inside our brain. So it's floating, which is supported by 2 tubes. Yeah. Such a beautiful machine has been created by nature, this body. And stress, when it comes into our body, the only way to remove this stress from our level of body is by secreting endorphins. Now, what is this term endorphin? It's a scientific term, or you can call it as a happy hormone. Endorphin is one of the happy hormones. Whenever we do some exercises, then endorphins are released in our system. Yes, and it lowers down the cortisol stress hormone in our system. How? We are going to learn the practical techniques and experience it in later part of this session. Yes, are you all finding it interesting? So you can put it in the chat box. All these facts and all these things what we are sharing. Yes. Now going forward, yeah, use it or lose it. Yes. So now 3 factors which affect the body. Yes. What are these? One is food, another is sleep, and the third one is exercise. Food we already know. Most of us know that we have to eat green leafy vegetables. We need to eat some nice good food which is on the positive side to keep our body intact, to keep it healthy. But many of us would agree to the fact that we are eating late night foods, maybe late night dinners, or when we wake up, then the combination of food which we are doing, that we are not keeping in mind, or we are not aware of it. So we need to understand there are 3 types of food also: Sattvic, Tamasic, and Sattvic. Sattvic is on a very kind of, when we eat some spicy food. You must have seen few people sitting on a chair and shaking their legs. They are doing something with the pan. Yeah, keep doing something. They cannot sit straight for say about 1 or 2 minutes. They start shaking their body because the Sattvic element increases in our system. Tamasic is, you must have seen few people who are very lethargic, low on confidence, not enthusiastic about things in life. They feel like sleepy most of the time. That is tamasic element which increases in our system. That is called, and another one is sattvic. When we have a balanced diet, then there is sattvic element which increases in our system, and that is very much required in today's scenario. So talking about sleep also, 6 to 7 hours of sleep definitely we do require, but most importantly, we need to understand the biological cycle. You know, the brain, the way we excrete through our body, the brain also excretes. Yes, there's the excreta of brain also, which happens into deep sleep. So most of the repairing happens, wear and tear, whatever happens in our body, most of the repairing happens during sleep. So sleep is also important, in exercise we already talked about. Endorphins, hormones, if we really want to secrete them and balance our system, then exercise is required. The three factors which affect the body. Now this brings me to the next level, which is breath. Now this breath is very, very, very interesting. You know, it is directly related to our emotions. Whenever we get angry, we breathe fast. Many of you would agree to this fact. Have you seen anyone who is getting angry and breathing slow? No. Yeah, we breathe very fast. Also, when you are happy, then the breath is very normal. But when you are sad, it is very deep and it is very long. Yeah, have you ever not noticed this breathing pattern related to the emotions? Now, often we say that we cannot control emotions. You know, when you have a fight with somebody, when you say something bad to someone, or someone says bad to you, or the work culture or the environment or something bad happens, suddenly it impacts our emotions, and in turn it impacts our breathing pattern. If breath and emotions are connected to such an extent, I think the opposite is also true. If we cannot handle our emotions, if we start handling our breath, then we are done. We are going to learn few breathing techniques today, yes, which will eventually help us to handle our emotions. Yes. So what keeps the first level alive? Body. The second level, breath. Breath keeps the first level alive. Now going forward, no breath, no life, and no breath, no life. Yes, today we are going to know few breathing techniques, and it will eventually help us. Yes. The third level, wherein the stress gets accumulated, is mind. Do you all worry some of the other days, like you get worried about things and people around you? Or maybe if I ask you, do you get tensed? Most of us would say yes to this question, isn't it? Yes, we do get tensed. If I ask you another question, what do you get tensed about? What do you worry about? Many of you would answer and say that it is not much, but one particular thought which is coming into our mind again and again, and it takes away our peace of mind. Do you all agree with this? In simple terms, if we talk, then what is worry? The answer is repetition of thoughts in our mind, which we are not able to come out of, the whirlpool of thoughts. Yes? Well, if you can give some response in the chat box, I will come to know that you are listening and we are going good with the session. Yes? Or maybe you can turn on your video and give some expressions. That would be helpful. Yeah, that's what worry is, isn't it? That's what tension is. Yeah. So if I ask you what kind of thoughts come in our mind, or what really troubles us, the answer would be either we are thinking about past or thinking about future, isn't it? What do you keep thinking about past? Whatever has happened wrong, yes, it keeps coming in our mind. Maybe we have taken some decisions in the past, it keeps coming in our mind. And if we talk about future, what do we keep worrying about future? What will happen? During pandemic time, it was too much in our mind. We all were occupied with the thoughts of uncertainty. What will happen in future, isn't it? Yes? That was happening? Yes? What will happen in future? How we are going to handle this? All these things were there. Now, worrying about past or worrying about future, that leads to stress. That is the main reason of accumulation of stress in our system. Immediately cortisol, which is the stress hormone, it shoots up in our system. Yes. That is mind. Now, if I ask you, can you control your mind? The answer would be maybe yes, maybe no. But if you do a small activity, you would agree to this. For example, if I ask you to close your eyes and think about a monkey, you would close your eyes. I would keep telling you, don't think about a monkey, don't think about a monkey, and that monkey would come, isn't it? Same happens in life also. If someone did something wrong to you, you keep telling your mind, I don't have to think about that person. But then again and again, that person comes into the mind. Why? Because mind doesn't understand the language of effort. Body understands the language of effort. Mind understands the language of effortlessness. Yes. So today we are going to experience something amazing. We are going to experience a short meditation also in the end, which will help us to get over the tendency of mind, which is to oscillate between past and future. So that is mind wherein this stress gets accumulated. Going further, what is the next level wherein the stress gets accumulated and in which form? So it is said that if you can win over your mind, you can win over the world and conquer overthinking by thinking mind. Yes. Going forward, how to handle this overthinking problem? This is something which has been asked to me, I think thousands of times, this question. How to overcome overthinking? Yeah. The answer to this is definitely the moment your mind is troubling and lots of thoughts are there, just get up and do some walk. Go for a walk, or having a cold water bath also helps. Yeah. Listening to loud music. See, listening to loud music, this is so scientific. I tell you, if your culture also, if you see in almost all the temples, or maybe mosque also, or maybe church also, if you go and see that there are some instruments being kept. If you talk about the temples, there are big drums outside, and people beat those drums, yeah, during some ceremony or while worshiping. And the moment you step inside, then there are big bells, yeah, attached to the roof, and you can blow the bells. And when you go inside, then there's someone with a conch. And then you go inside, then there's someone with a little bell there, or the ring. Now, this is scientific. The mind which is haywire, the mind which is distracted, the mind which is oscillating like a pendulum between past and future, the moment it hears a loud sound, it comes into the present moment. And slowly, when you go inside the temple and you sit, then that is the reason why it is called mandir. You have entered inside mandir, yeah, using this sound technology. Overcome overthinking. Why cold water bath? Yeah, it is again scientific. There's something called vagus nerve in our system. Vagus nerve, Vegas is a Latin word. The literal meaning of Vegas in English is wanderer. This is the nerve which is wandering in our body in almost all the parts. Right from the sacrum, which is the base of the spine, and to the top of the head. It goes wanderer, vagus nerve. This is the nerve which is responsible between balance between parasympathetic and sympathetic activities. Now this vagus nerve, it gets stimulated the moment you put cold water on you. You know, our ancient people used to say, wake up at 4 in the morning, take a walk, go and take a dip in Ganges or maybe some other river during winters. Now listening to itself is giving chill to my spine, isn't it? But just imagine they used to do it because they knew that taking a walk, yeah, singing something while coming and going back, taking that cold water dip, it all helps to control the mind. They were very intelligent, much intelligent than what we are today, isn't it? Do you all agree? So vagus nerve gets stimulated and it helps us to control our mind or the pattern of overthinking. And the fourth one is listening to knowledge, yeah, or meditate. This helps to overcome. So we are going to experience this, the last one, which is the most effective one. Yeah. So stress at the level of body we have discussed. Stress at the level of breath we have discussed. That it becomes very fast when we are stressful or very slow when we are sad. The stress we have discussed at the level of mind in the form of thoughts. Yeah, negative thoughts, mostly about past and future. Now we are going forward to the fourth level wherein stress gets accumulated. What is it? The intellect. What is intellect? If I ask you this question, intellect is that faculty of ours which enables us to decide what is wrong and what is right, isn't it? So while I am speaking or being part of this session, I'm sharing my thoughts and ideas. There may be few things to which you are saying yes, yes, yes. There may be few things you are saying no, no, no. What is that faculty in yours? It is nothing but intellect. Now, what is wrong with intellect? The, the problem with intellect is it doubts positive. That is the problem with it. Now, you would ask me how. I would say that, for example, if we meet after this session, maybe we get to meet one day, yeah, or maybe you meet somebody, the person comes and greets you and then praises you. Oh, you are looking so beautiful today, or so handsome today, you're looking so good. You have a good dressing sense. You're looking too professional today. It's really nice at the workplace. Or maybe the person praises your smile. Maybe the person praises your, the way you present yourself. After 4 or 5 praises, suddenly a ring will start ringing inside you. Yeah, you must be thinking that there's something suspicious. Why this person is praising me? Maybe he or she wants something from me, isn't it? Now, if we flip the situation, if one of your known or acquaintances comes and tells you, oh, you are not looking good today, you never doubt that, isn't it? Instead, we answer or reply, it's fine. Are you getting this? Happy thing that is the tendency of intellect. Yes. Also, the most important thing is most of the people in this world will listen to ideas and thoughts with intellectual blend of mind, or it is called intellectual listening. What does that mean? It means that you would end up listening to what you already know. Yeah, often we do that. We are listening to something, we already know something that we will allow, okay, fine, this I know. But if something alien comes to us, we don't provide visa to it or that thought or idea to enter into our system. This is intellectual listening. What is the problem? The problem is we end up learning what we already knew. There's no growth happening. Why? Because intellect has come into picture. So should we have it or should we not? I think yes, definitely we all should have it, and we have it. That's the reason why we all are here, to have this intellectual discussion. Yes. But intellect should believe in positive and it should doubt negative. This tendency has to reverse. It should not doubt positive, it should start doubting negative. That tendency we are going to discuss more later on. So how stress gets developed at the level of intellect? Stress develops at the level of intellect wherein you keep doing same thing again and again, and not allowing your creative side to blossom. Now you may find it paradox, but this is the irony. If you are using too much of our intellect, we will not allow our creative side to blossom. And if our creative side would not blossom, then we would end up being a left brain person. There are two hemispheres in our brain. One is the left brain, another is the right brain. The left brain is responsible for logical thinking and right is responsible for emotional. So the intellect, only if we are confined to intellectual blend of our thought process, then the left brain blossoms, but the right remains as it is. So stress develops. So how to balance it? So I would highly recommend this to all of you who are attending this session. Definitely listen to some music, maybe for 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Maybe some retro songs, Mohammed Rafi or Kishore Kumar, whatever, whosoever is your favorite, or Lata Mangeshkar. Play those songs. Listen to these songs. Yeah, that will give peace, comfort to the intellect and allow the creativity to blossom. Sounds good? Yes. That is how intellect gets de-stressed. And do some random things. What is random thing? Do something which has no purpose. That also helps to de-stress our intellect. Yeah, in Hindi we call it as बेमतलब का कुछ करना. Yes, उससे बुद्धि को विश्राम मिलता है. You can do something. It has no purpose, but do it. Next is, so body we discuss, breath we discuss, mind we discuss, intellect we discuss. See, intellectual listening का solution क्या है? Intake, ponder and imbibe, श्रवण, मनन and चिंतन. तो सुनिए आप, उस पे कंटेम्पलेट, मनन भी कीजिए और चिंतन, फिर उसको अंदर भी जाने दीजिए. So that is beautiful, beautiful intellectual listening we call it. Otherwise, most of the time people do emotional listening. Yes, they keep listening, they keep listening, they keep. For example, today also, I hope that you are not doing emotional listening. What would happen after the session? You would say it was very nice, it was very good. If somebody would ask, what did you learn, or what is your takeaway? You would say it was nice, good. What was your takeaway? It was wonderful. What was your takeaway? Oh, wonderful. We are listening as if we are listening to music. Nothing is going inside. It's just giving you a soothing comfort. That is emotional listening. But beautiful combination of intellectual and emotional listening is sincere listening. Yes, and that is only possible. That is only possible when our intellect is in a comforting space. Yes, there's a balance between left and right. Okay, so that brings me to the next one. Yeah. Yeah, we have already discussed this. Intellect also we have discussed. Tamsik, Rasika, Sati, same as the food. Yeah, Tamsik, which is dormant, not taking any action. We do have a lot of intellect, but we are not doing anything about it. Dormant. Rajasic sees everything as different. Yes, what does it mean? That it is always with the blend of criticism, always criticizing things using intellect. Sattvic intellect goes beyond the differences. What does that mean? Yeah, the intellect which you use to uplift others. Right? Now we come to one of the most interesting aspects wherein the stress gets accumulated, memory. The fifth level wherein stress gets accumulated. We all have memory and it is very much required. Yeah, the memory is something which is the storehouse of the or something wherein we store all the experiences which are collected by, you remember, mind, which is collected by intellect or filtered by intellect, and it comes to memory. The first time when we touched something which was very hot, it got registered in the memory. And now if something is very hot, we will not touch it, isn't it? When we drive back home, we just sit in the car and we reach our home in no time. We don't have to remember, we have to take left or right. Why? Because memory is there. But the problem with memory is when it gets stuck into past. Many of us who are, if there's something which troubles you in life, there's nothing but the decisions which have been taken in the past, which turn out to be incorrect decisions. Or maybe a close one of you, acquaintance of you, or maybe a relative or close friend of yours, he behaved in an unpredicted manner, which was not very comforting to you, or said something to you which was not very comforting to you. That memory comes again and again in your mind, and it doesn't come alone, it brings along some negative emotion, isn't it? So my question to you is, what is that creates trouble? Is it the memory or the negative emotions attached with the memory? The answer would be the negative emotions attached with the memory. So here is the memory, say example, and here are your negative emotions. Here is the memory, here is the negative emotion. They both are connected to each other. So whenever you remember your past and it troubles you, it is not the memory but the negative emotions troubling. What if I say there is a way, there is a mechanism to detach memory with the negative emotions? How would the life would be? If I say, here is your memory and negative emotions, and we can detach them, we can remove the negative emotions. In fact, the positive also, we can remove the emotions. It's just a memory. Yes. In that manner, in that case, the life would be that we do have our memories, very much required, because they will help us to take decisions in future, isn't it? We learn through our experiences. It is very much required. But it will not trouble. if I share my personal example with all of you, for last 10 years, I've been doing some practices, some techniques I've learned. When I look back now, I do have my past, and ups and downs are there in the past, as in everybody's case. But when I look back, it's just an incident. It's just a memory. It doesn't trouble me, as if it's as if it's a dream. Yeah, and that is so beautiful about it. So if we can learn how to detach the emotions from the memory, then that is really wonderful. I think most of you would agree to this fact. But how can we achieve that? How we can do it? We'll come to the practical aspect of this seminar, and we are going to learn this today. Yes. So memory is both hindrance and a blessing. You remember you must have seen that movie Three Idiots. You know, Boman Irani played the role of Virus, and whenever he used to go for that shaving exercise, there used to be a gramophone nearby him, and that gramophone, that Virus, his name was Virus, yeah, Boman Irani in that movie Three Idiots. That gramophone was played, a disc used to be there. There used to be a stylus as well, a triangular shaped tool, I would say. When it connects with the disc, then layer by layer, it produces music. There's some magnetic effect which takes place. Now, until that stylus is moving effortlessly on that particular disc, everything is smooth. But the moment that stylus gets stuck, it starts producing noise. That is the issue. In our life also, same thing happens. When we are living our life in the present moment, in this moment, everything is fine, everything is moving wonderful. But the moment when we get stuck into past, we start producing noise. Oh, not only we are getting trouble, but nearby people also, they also get trouble. Yes, because it got stuck. So the skill is to detach the emotions from the memory. We are going to learn that. Yes. And going forward, yes. So see, emotions, past memories, and then experiences. So no result, only a disturbed you. Yeah. If only emotions are there in the past, then we are getting disturbed. If we utilize those memory experiences as an experience, better decision for the present and future we can take. Yeah, it is as good as we are looking straight as we are walking. Meditation is that. Using meditation, we can disconnect memories with the emotion. Yeah. Otherwise, we are driving the car looking into the rear mirror. What would happen? We might get into some accident. Yes. Now we come to the sixth level, which is ego. What is this ego? If I ask you this, what is this ego? Many of you would agree to this fact that we should have ego, we should not have ego. We are little confused, isn't it? So I would like to ask this question to you. Should we have ego or should we not have ego? Can anyone answer in the chat box? It's been a while I've been speaking. Let's hear it from you. You can just write yes or no. Should we have ego? Should we not have ego? What is your answer to that? Maybe I can sip some water meanwhile. You answer this in the chat box. Should we have ego or should we not have ego? I'm waiting for your answers. Dr. Vijay is writing, yes, sometimes ego is required. Okay. So Drakshavini is saying that we should not have. Kamini Joshi is also saying that we should not have. Abdullah Sharma is writing, depends on situation. That's being diplomatic. Yeah, it depends on the situation. So what is ego? Ego is nothing but I. So for example, Dr. Vijay Sharma is here with us attending the seminar. If I ask Dr. Vijay Sharma that Dr. Vijay Sharma, when you took birth, were you a doctor or an engineer or an architect? You would say it was not decided, sir. Isn't it? If I asked Dr. Vijay Sharma, what was your weight when you took birth? And he would say, definitely not the weight which I am carrying now. Isn't it? If I ask what education, if I ask what hobbies, if I ask habits, Dr. Vijay Sharma would say that none of these things or traits or attributes were there when I took birth. But today when I'm sitting here and attending this seminar, I am Dr. Vijay Sharma, part of this seminar. Yeah, attending this session. And I have many more things. I'm a husband to someone, I'm father to someone, I'm son to someone. Yeah, I'm a working professor. I'm reading all these responsibilities. All this is nothing but I. Yeah, all these labels. This is ego, our identity. But the problem with ego is we should always keep it in our pocket. Whenever it is required, we should use it and again keep it in our pocket. And where it is required. If ego would not be there, we will not be do anything, will not be able to perform any activity. When I say that I have to achieve something in my life, when I say I have to achieve this, I have to fulfill this goal, that is ego which is driving me or giving me that force. So it is required. Often people confuse between ego and self-respect. Self-respect is something wherein it is associated with self. It is nothing to do with others. Ego is something wherein we demand respect from other people, and that is a human behavior. Nothing wrong in that. We demand respect from other people. Ego, when it is shrinked, it is opposite to being natural. The person who is standing on the stage holding the mic and started stammering, not able to deliver the speech, that is also ego. The person who is standing on the stage and expressing in a very over-expressive manner is also ego. Inferiority complex is also ego, superiority complex is also ego. Ego is something wherein we are not natural. Simple as that. Opposite to being natural is ego. Yes. Now, how does it concern with stress getting accumulated? The whole story about stress is this I, isn't it? You put a person inside a room, lock that person for 10 minutes, and tell that person to ask this question to himself or herself 100 times. What about me? What about me? What is going to happen with me? Who am I? What I am doing? All these questions when that person starts asking himself or herself, even for 5 minutes, that person would get into stress or depression. You know, that direction, the energy, the focus, when it is too much on here, which is too much on I, then it leads to stress. At the same time, I'm not saying that give up your goals, aims, or objectives in life. Don't have dreams. No, there's a difference. We should always have this skill when to clench our fist and when to open it. Yes, that is important. So stress gets accumulated at the level of ego when there is too much self-obsession. That is what it does. And it obstructs the secretion of oxytocin, happy hormone, which is responsible for being natural and having a feeling of belongingness. So when oxytocin hormone decreases in our system, then cortisol stress hormone increases in our system, and we find ourselves in a very not a very comforting space. We call it as you are aloof. You don't want to talk to anybody, don't want to interact with anybody. You want to disconnect with each and every person surrounding you. You wish to be alone because oxytocin has decreased in our system. What to do? What to do? How to handle the stress at the level of ego? We need to offer ourselves and do something which is not concerned with I. It is concerned with others. If we can contribute our time, energy, effort, yeah, reach out to people, do some service. It can be planting a tree, yeah, it can be offering food to needy or clothes or doing something. कुछ भी जो भी आपको अच्छा लगे, that will help to come out of this stress accumulation at the level of ego. Another problem with this ego is how to avoid ego in the competition world. So we have received a question here. Yes. So I would always say that, see, competition is of two types. We all know this, nothing new. Competition with others and competition with oneself. So first, at the first place is, let's compete with ourselves only. First point. Second is, I say, let's go one step further. Forget about the competition. Let's inculcate this particular thought process or this particular attribute in our system that I am going to be 100% in whatever I do. I don't care about this. Yeah, being 100% is the key. There, competition drops because you are not concerned with the result. Now, it may sound very philosophical, yes, but that is true. That is true, and it has been written in our scriptures also. So let's just perform our work and let's go forward. That is first thing. Second is, competition world, if ego is there, then it will drive you, it will give you the energy to excel and do better. There is nothing wrong in it. See, there is a difference between excelling and putting effort, and there is a difference between expecting others to perform bad so that we can excel. There is a difference between these two. Third thing is, ego should never come into relationship. You know, in a relationship, when you are into an argument, and if you lose that argument, it's your win. I repeat, in a relationship, husband, wife, or any relationship, even if we lose the argument, it's our win. We should give up the ego. Yeah. And when it comes to achieving our goals, then we should pull it from our pocket, put it here, and start working. It will give us energy. People often do opposite. That is the problem. Another question is sometimes self-confidence considered as ego? No. See, self-confidence, self-respect, they are different from ego. Shivani is asking this question. Have you seen few people in your campus also? They keep looking at you until you wish them good morning. It used to happen with me a lot in my corporate world. My manager used to look at me and follow my eyes until I wish my boss good morning. Has it happened with you in your workplace? You know, these people, they expect, come on, wish me good morning. At least greet me. I have looked at you. Yeah. So that is ego. We are demanding respect from other people. Yeah, many times it happens. And self-confidence, it is related to our own self. Yeah. It has nothing to do with ego. And it is good to have self-confidence. It is good to have. Okay, so how to differentiate between self-confidence and ego? Whenever you become unnatural while exhibiting or expressing your confidence is ego. Whenever you are completely natural, humble, modest, while expressing your confidence, that is self-confidence. Okay. And another, okay. So coming back to the topic, so ego is something interesting. So how much ego we should have in life? The amount of salt which we have in food, that much ego is enough for us to give us energy to achieve our goals. Yes, that much is enough. Okay. So going forward, now we have discussed about the 6 levels, isn't it? And the stress which are getting accumulated at these different levels. Now is the time, it's almost 1 hour. We are done with almost 1 hour. Now is the time to experience some practical techniques. Are you all interested? Shall we do it? Any other question you would like to ask until here? So let's do a quick revision. Stress at the level of body, stress at the level of breath, stress at the level of mind, and then intellect, and then memory, and then ego. So these are the 6 levels wherein stress gets accumulated. Now, before going further, yes, we really need to understand this, that one thing which can help us is breath. The second level. Breath is the link between body and the mind. Breath is something which can help us to come out of stress at all the levels. Practically, if we talk about, yeah, the knowledge aspect we have already discussed. So we are going to learn some breathing technique. But before that, we need to understand why breath is so important. %90 of the toxins are released from our system through breath, not through excreta or urine. You must be amazed to know this fact. But we use only 30% of the lung capacity. During COVID, almost all the medical practitioners, doctors, and scientists, they laid a lot of emphasis on increasing the lung capacity, isn't it? And they all said that nothing is going to help you, but your immunity is going to help. We need to learn how to enhance our immunity levels. We need to learn how to increase our lung capacity. Talking more about breath, 10,000 liters of oxygen is going into our system every single day. Then definitely it is very, very helpful, and we should definitely learn it. So normal breath when I take and when I breathe out, this is normal breathing I'm doing. So first thing we all can check is how we are breathing. So we can place our right palm on top of our stomach here and just observe the movement of our stomach when we are breathing in and breathing out. Yeah, you can stop the sharing now. So how we are breathing? So we can place our right palm on our stomach and take long deep breath in and breathe out, in and out, and just observe the movement of stomach. Let us all do it. It's a very simple exercise we all can do and understand it. Yeah, let's all do it. Place right palm on top of the belly or stomach and observe the movement of stomach. It's going in or it's going out. Long deep breath, right palm on our stomach. Very slowly you may all open your eyes and write here in the chat box. So for how many of you the stomach was going in when you were breathing in? सांस लेने पर कितने लोगों का पेट अंदर जा रहा था? You can write here in the chat box. Yeah. For how many of you it happened that when you were breathing in, the stomach was going in? You can write in the chat box your responses or answers. Then I will share something interesting. Yeah, so many people have written here: Geetu, Mridula, Sharma, Kamini Joshi, Shivani, Karuna, Payal, all. Okay. So most of you, it was going in. So I have a good news to share with all of you that you are breathing incorrect. Yeah, so it doesn't mean that today you will catch your mother or maybe someone in the family and say, oh, you didn't notice how we are breathing since our birth. It is like balloon. Yeah. So what happens in a balloon? When air goes in, it inflates, isn't it? And when the air leaves the balloon, it deflates, isn't it? That is how it should be. So when we are breathing in, the stomach should come out. And when we are breathing out, it should go in. If while breathing in, the stomach is going in, so what we are doing, we are expanding our chest while breathing in, like this, isn't it? And the stomach is going in, but that should not be the process. The process should be like breathing, while I am breathing in, I'm not putting any pressure, any focus to my chest region. I am allowing the breath to go in and stomach to inflate. And when I breathe out, I allow my stomach to deflate. Yes? So we are going to learn more about it. No issues. We are going consciously, when you put your focus that breathing in, it has to come out, it will happen. Let's do it again with this awareness that while breathing in, the stomach has to come out. Let's place our right palm here on the top of our stomach. and slowly relax and open your eyes. Yeah, I hope to some of you it was helpful and you were able to correct your the movement of stomach while breathing in and breathing out. I hope this awareness is going to help. Yes. Okay. So now we are going to learn a breathing technique here, and eventually it will help us to experience something which is going to detach our negative emotions with our memories. Point number one. Second is it is going to instantly decrease cortisol stress hormone in our system. Point number two. Point number three, we are going to do something which is going to release happy hormones, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. This we are going to experience right now. And also we are going to experience something which will bring our mind in the present moment, removing the stress at the level of mind which keeps swinging into past and future. We are going to do something or learn something which is going to bring a balance between our left hemisphere and right hemisphere, removing the stress at the level of intellect. We are going to experience something which is going to release serotonin, releasing the stress at the level of ego, oxytocin at the level of ego. Yes, are you all ready? So you can turn on your videos, maybe some of you, so I can see if you're doing it correct or not. And I can call out your name and correct you if you're not doing. We are going to learn that now. After doing the technique, we are going to do a short meditation, maybe for 15 minutes, and that will again help us to experience it better. Okay. Do we need a short break? Anyone needs a short break, maybe 2-3 minutes break? If yes, you can write here in the chat box. So maybe you can just go and take a break and come back. After 2 minutes, we are going to start the practical aspect. You can drink some water, go to washroom, just take a walk. Okay, so I hope many of you are back. And if you have any questions, meanwhile, I hope you all are enjoying the session. It's worthwhile listening to these levels, and the stress accumulation at different levels. So we are going to learn a breathing technique now, and after practicing that breathing technique, we are going to do a short meditation. All over the world, if we talk about meditation, is the new food. You take example of philanthropists, you take example of businessmen, sportsperson, politicians, scientists, almost all the people from bottom to top, they understand the importance of meditation. There was a recent article wherein it was said that meditation is something which is beyond religion as well. And that is very true. Meditation comes from spirituality. And spirituality is made of a word called spirit. The spirit is something which is enthusiasm. This is something called energy. When I say spirituality, it has nothing to do with any religion. It has nothing to do with any prayers. It has nothing to do with any particular culture. It has something to do with energy, definitely. Something to do with confidence. Something to do which can bring unshakable smile on the face. That is spirituality. But the most misunderstood word in the world today. Yeah. So, the most spiritual person, if you ask me, is a small kid, isn't it? A small child. The child smiles 400 times in a day. Definitely, that child is spiritual. High on energy, never doubts positive, always believes in positive, never lives in past, never lives in future, always living in present, isn't it? Yeah, something to learn from. So we are going to experience that today. So, but before that, we need to talk a little bit about meditation. How to remove stress. So there's a research being done recently in Harvard University of Medical Sciences, yeah, and Yale University. The research says that regular practice of meditation, the research was done on around 50, 60 students. There were two batches of 30 students each, and the research was done for say about 30 days. And one of the batch, they asked them to sit and they used to talk about positive thinking. They used to talk about increase your confidence, don't get distracted, keep a smile on face, only lectures and theoretical aspect. To another batch, they taught few breathing techniques. And after 1 month, the results of that particular research it came out. And to your surprise, I would say that students who experienced the breathing techniques, the practical techniques in Yale University and Harvard Medical Science, they did the research. I would rather request Meera ma'am to share that document with all of you after the session. You can go through that research. The students who experienced the practical techniques, they reported that their confidence was much better and their cortisol was much lower, a stress hormone. Yeah, they were feeling better and harmonious with their own self. They were comfortable. So we are going to talk more about that. So meditation is something which we all should have an idea. That is something which can remove the stress from almost all the aspects of life and different levels. So it is made up of word meditation, which means dhyana. Yeah, dhya means concentration, na means no. Basically, it is no concentration. Often people get confused and say that, okay, it means we need to concentrate on something, we need to focus on something. No, that is not the case. It is deconcentration. Rather, concentration is the result of meditation. Yes, it is basically the art of doing nothing. That is meditation. So what we are going to do today is we are going to learn a breathing technique, first of all, and then we are going to experience it. So when you sit with your eyes closed, there may be some thoughts coming in your mind. Let them come and let them go. Don't get bothered. As if some clouds are coming and clouds are going. That's it. And you sit idle and then you will, I assure you that you will have a wonderful experience if you follow all the instructions, yeah, nicely, accurately. So shall we begin with that? So you can probably sit comfortably in your room wherein you are sitting. Keep your spine erect to begin with. Let's keep our spine erect. Yes. Sit straight. So we are going to learn a breathing technique which is called Bhastrika. Yeah. It is also called as the warrior's breath. So those who are attending this meeting or conference today, if they feel that sometimes the energy is low, sometimes you feel like there's a lot of lethargy in your system. Fatigue has entered into your system. You don't feel like doing anything. This is for you. Instant energy booster. Yes, we call it as yogic shots. Thumb outside the fist in front of your shoulders up to shoulder height, elbows close to your body. Yeah, this is the posture. So your elbows should be close to your body and thumb outside the fist like this. Action is, when I go up, I will throw my arms up in the air, and when I come down, I again close my fist. So when I go up, I open my fist. When I come down, I close my fist. I repeat, when I go up, I open the fist and throw my arms up in the air. When I come down, I again make fist with my palms and up till shoulder height as I come down. This is the action. Let's coordinate it with counts. When I say breathe in, we are going to go up, breathe in and open the fist. When I say out, we come down and we breathe out through our nostrils and we again make the fist when we come down. I repeat how we are going to do this. So what I'm doing here is I'm inhaling as much as I can through my nostrils as I go up. And when I come down, I close my fist and breathe out through my nostrils forcefully. Let's observe. Breathe in, out. Breathe in, out. Is it clear? Can we all do this? Important thing is, even if you reach the top, keep breathing if you have some space in your lungs. Anyways, we are using only 30% of our lung capacity. Let's increase this. And when we come down, forcefully breathe out through nostrils. Forcefully breathe out through nostrils. Normal breath through nostrils, not through mouth. We are going to use only nostrils. I repeat. So when I'm going up, I'm not going like this. I'm not going like this. If I have any biceps, they're touching my ears. So it is going straight. And going up, I'm not joining my hands. They are parallel. I hope this is clear now. Okay. And anyways, it's a very intelligent batch. We don't require much of the instruction. Rather, you instruct the students, your students. Okay. So breathe in, out. We'll do 15 to 20 times. And then I would ask you or request you to relax. How would you relax? Just place your palms resting on your thighs or knees, facing towards ceiling or sky, and just relax. Sit with your eyes closed. So one round we complete and then we relax. Again, I would request you to get into the second round. So when I ask you to get into the second round, like this, wherein thumb is outside the fist, again we get into the position. So before we start our Bhastrika, we are going to breathe in and breathe out twice normally like this. And then we start our Bhastrika. It's a very ancient breathing technique and very scientific technique. There's a lot of research being done on this particular technique. Yeah, it says that it gives you instant energy. So again, we'll do 15 to 20 rounds and then we relax. And then again, we'll do third round and relax. You would feel the difference instantly after 3 rounds of Bhastrika. Right now, you would feel that something has opened up. Yeah. So let's do it with utmost sincerity. After 3 rounds of this particular breathing technique, we don't have to do anything. Just sit with our eyes closed, place our palms on our thighs or knees, and just relax. And just follow the instructions. That should be good. Yeah, just follow the instructions. But eyes should be closed. Yeah, this is very much required. If we open our eyes, we are going to lose out to our experience. This is important. So during Bhastrika also, you can just slightly open your eyes in the starting and see how I am doing. Once you follow it correctly, then you close your eyes and continue. And do not open your eyes until I ask you to open your eyes in the end after meditation. Okay, so let's take position. Sit straight, take position, thumb outside the fist, elbows close to the body, shoulders are relaxed, spine is erect. and a normal breath in. And breathe out. A deep breath in and breathe out. Now together, forcefully breathe in, out, in, out, in, out, and continue in, out, in, out. You may close your eyes, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. In, out, and relax. Slowly place your palms on your thighs or knees. Keep your eyes closed, aankhein band rakhiye. A long deep breath in and breathe out. Keep your eyes closed and observe if there are some vibrations, sensations happening in the system. Let's keep our eyes closed. Let's get ready for the second round of Bhastrika breathing technique. Thumb outside the fist, close to your shoulders, up till shoulder height. Elbows close to your body. Neck and back is straight, chin up. Eyes are closed. Let's keep our eyes closed. We already have understood how we have to do it. Let's keep our eyes closed. A normal transition breath in and breathe out. Again a deep breath in, breathe out completely. Together forcefully, like a warrior. Breathe in, out, 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 and relax. Let's keep our eyes closed, place our palms on our thighs or knees. Let's keep our eyes closed and observe the sensations or vibrations in our body. Let's become aware of it. And one last round. Let's get ready. Loose fists in front of our shoulders, up to shoulder height, elbows close to our body, neck and back straight. Chin up. A transition breath in and breathe out. Again a transition breath in. Breathe out completely. Together forcefully. Breathe in, out, 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 and relax. Let's keep our eyes closed. Let's keep our eyes closed. Place our palms on our thighs, on palms facing towards ceiling, and observe your breath. Let's sit easily and comfortably. Let's take a long deep breath in and breathe out. Relax your body. Relax your complete body. Drop all the body weight onto the place you are sitting. Maybe a chair or sofa. Drop all your body weight. Sit with your eyes closed. Palms are facing towards ceiling or sky. Just take a long deep breath in and breathe out. लंबी गहरी श्वास लें और जाने. Let's become aware of the environment. Accept all the noises in the environment. Noise of the fan moving, people talking, doors banging, or any kind of noise. Accept all the noises in the environment. Become one with the environment. Long deep breath in and breathe out. Let's become aware of our body. Beautiful gift by nature. Let's take our awareness onto the right foot without moving the body part. Right knee, right thigh, whole of your right leg. Become aware of the left foot, left knee, left thigh, whole of your left leg. Become aware of your hips, genitals, base of the spine, abdomen, navel region. Become aware of your chest, right shoulder, right arm, left shoulder, left arm, throat, face, chin, cheek, nose, eyes, eyebrows, forehead, top of your head. Become aware of the whole body. Relax more and more. Breathe in and breathe out. Become aware of your thoughts. Good thoughts or bad thoughts. Do not resist. Let thoughts come and go, like clouds come and go. Observe the thoughts. Be in harmony with the thoughts. Observe the thoughts. Breathe in and breathe out. Become aware of your feelings. Observe the feelings, good or bad. You are joy. You are peace. Become aware of your feelings. Become aware of your thoughts. Become aware of your body. Become aware of the environment. Take a long, deep breath in and breathe out. Taking your own time. Very slowly and gently. Without any hurry. You may all open your eyes. Welcome back. Good. Yeah. You can share your experience here in the chat box if you're able to follow and do this meditation and this breathing technique. How you're feeling now? How's your state of mind? Feeling relaxed? It was good. Feeling very relaxed. Nice, good to hear that. Hmm? So if you observe, the mind has settled a bit, isn't it? Hmm. Nice. Yes. So we just did a short meditation and a very simple breathing technique. Yes. You can explore more breathing techniques in some artisan programs or maybe some other organizations program also. It is always a good idea to learn these techniques. Yeah. They are the real stress busters. If I share my experience with you, I've been doing this for last 10 years. Yeah. And maybe that is the reason that comparatively, when I look back and when I look today, I'm more childlike. Not childish, but childlike. Yeah. In the moment, smile quite often. Otherwise, if you see, when we grow older, people who are in teenage, they smile say about 70 to 80 times in a day. The working professional in the age group of 30, they smile for say about 20 to 25 times. Those who are married and then they are in their 40s and 45 years of age, they smile only 7, 8 times a day. And then there comes a stage wherein we don't smile in the age of 70 or 80. But we have problem when others smile. Isn't it? It happens. So what I would say is that if we can somehow include these breathing techniques or this culture of sitting with own self, that is real me time. Meditation is going inward. It is as good as you spending time with your own self. Yeah. So it is as good as if you are in total acceptance and harmony with your own self. Definitely, your relationship with people around also improves. Yeah, that is where it helps. And happy hormones are secreted. You feel more peaceful and joyful. And it's all nothing framed from my side, but this is what the scientific studies say, yes, today in the world. So I hope you all had this good experience with meditation also and breathing technique also. One thing I must share this when all of us are here and part of different institutes or colleges or universities. If somehow we can, include 10 or 15 minutes of these things for our students and our other staff members, we can create that positive impact and positive environment surrounding. Yeah, and this is the reason why in Cornell University, if you Google it, also you will be able to find it. Or Yale University, yeah, one of the leading university in the world, they have included arming programs as part of their curriculum. Also to share with you, same as the FDP under All India Council of Technical Education (AICTE). Last 2 years or 3 years accumulated together, around 80,000 students have experienced the arming program. Thanks to Sahasra Buddhe sir, who was the chairman of AICTE, with all his support, we were able to accomplish this. And the results were wonderful. The reports were wonderful. So I would say that before wrapping up today's session, if we can take away, what we can take away is this breathing technique, what we learned just now. I would share the link with Meeta ma'am and the guided meditation as well. And you can take it from Meeta ma'am and we can further explore it. Sounds good? So any question you would like to ask? Sorry, could you please repeat? Was there any question? How much time it takes? This technique together with meditation would not take more than 15 minutes. 15 minutes, just 15 to 18 minutes. If we can do in just 4-5 days, we'll see the result. Just 4-5 days. Yes. So Meeta ma'am, if you are here with us.
Sir. Hello. Sir, myself Gaurav Saxena. So Meeta ma'am has left. If any participant has any question, then you may please ask with Vivek sir.
Yeah, you can ask any question related to breathing technique, related to the session today also.
And if not, sir, then really what a wonderful talk you have given. Actually, I just remembered one quote there that give your stress wings and let it fly away. And
yes.
Exactly what you have done for us. Exactly what for at least for these 2 hours, actually, we were finding us, okay, the stress was, we were so relaxed. And with all the breathing techniques, I hope that every participant has definitely get a benefit. I hope that everybody will keep this thing in their lifestyle, which is very, very important nowadays. And since last 1 or 2 years in this pandemic, so this stress is more than anything. It's more important than anything, actually. And
very true, sir.
That's why, sir, Vivek sir, we are very much thankful on the behalf of our college and organizers to giving us these techniques and how to be calm, how to be less stressed in this lifestyle. And I hope that participants will definitely be benefited with this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
Vivek sir.
Gaurav sir, and thank you all of you. And I hope it made some sense and the time which we spent together was worthwhile. Thanks to Gweka always, and I'm always delighted to have sessions with Gweka University. Been associated with it for quite a while now. Thank you, Gaurav sir. And if you have any questions, you may have my email ID from Meeta ma'am or Gaurav sir, and you can always reach out to me via email or text message as well. So good to hear your feedback, Shivani Agrawal, Shubha P, Sakshwani ji, Thank you so much, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivek sir. Thanks a lot for all the participants. Okay. So we will meet tomorrow morning, and have a good day.